Hi guys. So I just wanted to make this video sort of as a introduction, since this is my first vlog video, and just a little background as to how I became vegan. So just to start off, I've been vegan for a little over a year now. I decided to go vegan last Christmas, so now it's February, so a little over a year. Now before that I was vegetarian, kind of on and off, for a long time. I started going vegetarian when I was about 2021, when I was in university. And it didn't really start with big ethical type things or big reasons. I mean, I always loved animals, so it just started from, if I can't eat my dog, then how can I eat other animals? But I didn't really put much thought into it, and I don't know if that's just because of my age, because I was young, or I thought I would just give it a try. But I was vegetarian for quite a few years, and like I said, on and off. Really, when I went off and started eating meat again was when I got pregnant with my son. He's 5 years old now. But yeah, when I was pregnant, ironically enough, one of the first things that I crave, people have weird cravings and weird food combinations, things like that. I never had that, but definitely one of the first things I craved was meat. And I got pregnant I was 27. And I'm 33 now, so I don't want to say that I was young and didn't really, but I guess I was committed to it, but not to the level that I feel like I am now. So I sort of gave into my cravings, and while I was pregnant, I ate meat. And it's pretty easy. I can understand if those of you are watching this video, for those of you that are watching the video and you eat meat now and you're kind of curious about vegetarianism or veganism, or even those of you that are vegetarian now or vegan, I'm sure pretty much everyone can relate to the fact that meat is so much in our culture, and we're raised with eating meat and how it's part of our diet and how we should be eating it, and no one really questions it. And frankly, it tastes good. I wouldn't say that now. I wouldn't even put it in my mouth, honestly. But at the time, I thought it tasted good, and so I gave into my cravings. And also because I was pregnant, I wanted to make sure I was healthy for the baby and this and that, and healthy for myself. But I think definitely now, if I had another child now, I would, consult with my OBGYN and, ask about how I can maintain my diet and still be pregnant and still have a child. But anyway, yeah, so long story short, I started eating meat again. And then after I gave birth to my son, I decided to stay with it because I wanted to breastfeed, and I wanted to give the proper nutrients to my baby and this and that. And like I said, I didn't research that. I guess I wasn't 100% committed, or wasn't, I thought that, okay, once I finish breastfeeding, or maybe when he gets a little bit older, I'll go back. So yeah, I was eating meat. And then I breastfed for about 7-8 months. I would have liked to breastfeed longer, but that's a whole other issue and whole other video. But anyway, it was difficult, and I had a hard time with it. So after I stopped breastfeeding, and I guess when my son was over a year old, I started thinking about cutting out meat again. So I started off gradually, because again, I can totally relate. Once you get used to eating meat and used to that texture in your mouth and that taste in your mouth, it's definitely hard to give it up. So I didn't want to go cold turkey necessarily. So I started just having, I was never a big fan of beef. So I just started having chicken and fish. So I did that for a while. Then I sort of gradually switched back to just fish. And then when I started doing that, I remembered that, it's not that hard. And I feel better when I'm not eating meat, and I felt like a hypocrite eating meat in the first place because I had been vegetarian before. So eventually I cut that out. So going back to last Christmas, I was vegetarian. And I forget exactly what sort of prompted me, or not what prompted me, but what sort of gave me the idea about trying to go vegan. But I had heard about Alicia Silverstone's book. It's called The Kind Diet. And I'm actually going to do another video with all the cookbooks and sort of resource books that I use. So I'll show you guys that book. But I'm sure most people, if you're into this lifestyle or into healthy eating, or you've heard of her cookbook. So I got her cookbook over Christmas, so last Christmas. And I started reading, and then just the stuff that she said, I mean, about almost half the cookbook is sort of information, and the other half is recipes. And just the stuff that she said just clicked in my head and reminded me of why I was vegetarian in the first place. And then all the health issues and things like that. And so I told myself that I would give it a try with sort of no expectations. I told myself, if I can't do it for whatever reason, that it's too hard, or I feel sick, my body doesn't feel good, I'm very much a person where I believe that listen to your body, do things that are good for your body. So I told myself, look, if it doesn't work out, I've tried, and I'll just stick to being vegetarian, because I felt great being vegetarian and had no problems with it. But I ate a lot of cheese. That was my thing. So anybody watching this who's thinking I can't go vegan because I love cheese, I was the exact same way. Love cheese, love cheese. Now I don't crave cheese at all, at all. So it's just funny how that happens. But anyway, so I decided to try it, and it actually wasn't that hard. And then I started feeling better and better, and it just became something that I just felt great. Then I started reading more research and more information about how animals are treated, even the production of dairy and eggs, which most people don't really think about. I mean, people know, even people that eat meat know that animals are slaughtered and the conditions are probably not that ideal. But people tend not to really think about dairy and eggs. So I started researching more about that. And then the more I read, I was also reading that a lot of people can't digest dairy. And then it just started making sense to me about how, here I was as a mother, I had given my baby breast milk. So breast milk is supposed to be for your baby. So cows are making milk for their babies. So why are we drinking it? How is it natural that we're drinking it? We're the only species on the planet that consumes another animal's milk. So it just started making sense to me. And one last thing that I want to add is I also started not only feeling better, feeling more energetic, feeling cleaner, feeling lighter. And I don't necessarily mean weight. I mean, yes, I lost weight, but anybody that's vegan, I think, can relate to this. And it's kind of hard to put into words unless you actually feel it, but you really feel lighter. I don't know if it's a sense of peace because you feel like you're doing something that you're really passionate about, or it's just the foods you're eating sit better. You don't have that bloated feeling in your stomach. But anyway, you just feel light. And one health issue that I used to have was, and as I started researching, I read that dairy is really bad for your skin. So you get a lot of pimples and things like that. Now in high school, even, in my 20s, I got pimples, but not an excessive amount. But my issue was eczema. I had really bad eczema, especially my hands, my wrists. Now you can see, no eczema. I have a bit of dry skin because it's wintertime. But I had really bad eczema to the point that I don't know how many medicated creams I had. I was considering going to a doctor and going on medication. My hands would bleed and hurt. They were painful, and crack and just rashes everywhere. It was horrible. And since cutting out dairy, since going vegan, my eczema is not better, gone, completely gone. So for me, again, to each their own. I mean, there is research backing up that dairy is very bad for your skin, among other things. But for me, sorry about the lighting, guys. For me, I obviously had an allergy to dairy, and it's completely gone. So, so those are basically the reasons why I went vegan, and I'm so passionate about it now that I don't see myself going back. I mean, again, you never know what's going to happen in the future. I mean, I don't foresee a reason why I would go back. I have no problems staying away from dairy. I'm very healthy. I feel great. I don't crave those foods anymore. So even if I go out to a restaurant and I'm sitting next to someone, like me and my girlfriend's like going out, and if we go out for drinks, we'll get a plate of nachos. I'm not tempted at all to have that cheese. I'll take the pieces without the cheese. So for me, I feel like this is going to be a lifelong thing. Yeah, and I just feel amazing. So yeah, I just wanted to make this introductory video and just kind of introduce my story about being a vegan and how I got there. And it'd be really cool to hear from other people how where they are in their journey, if you're vegetarian, if you're vegan, if you're thinking about those options. If you want to try, even if you eat meat, and let's say meatless Mondays, that became a big thing, or a few days out of the week not eating meat, if you're curious about that, or curious about adding whole foods to your diet and plant-based foods. I would love to hear your comments. If you want to comment below and let me know where you are in your journey, or what your experiences are, that would be great. Yeah, so that sounds great, and hopefully, hopefully this maybe inspires some people to expand their diet. I think that's pretty much all. I mean, in an ideal world, everyone would be vegan and it would be amazing, but also you have to be realistic about things. But definitely my goal with my vlog is just to inspire people to think about what they're putting in their bodies and how they're living their life. So hopefully this is the case. Alright guys, so I'll see you next time. I'm gonna try to make a video at least one a week. We'll see what that happens. Like I said, I have a son, so I'm kind of busy. I'm a single mom. So I'm pretty busy with my son, but I would like to keep this going. So yeah, like I said, leave me comments. I'd love to hear from you guys. All right.